following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Welcome to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network. The Flames Clubhouse Report is brought to you by Fakes Jewelers. Since 1930, trusted for generations. Stay tuned for the latest views on Liberty Flames baseball, a look around the ASUN Conference, and we'll catch up with Flames head coach Scott Jackson. Now, here's the voice of Flames baseball, Nick Pierce.
Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report. Thanks for stopping by to chat a little Flames baseball with us. Nick Pierce with you this week as we prepare for a three-game series at home. Liberty and Kennesaw State in a battle for the ASUN North Division. We're going to get into the scenarios and all the things that can happen here for the Flames coming up here this weekend. Also on this week's show, we're going to chat with the head coach as we always do. Scott Jackson will give us a little bit of time. And this week's guests also include Flames second baseman Will Wagner making a push, certainly at an all-conference bid, perhaps even a push at ASUN Player of the Year. Who knows how things will shake out here over the next couple of weekends, but the Flames, three more coming up at home after a sensational week. I don't know that it could have gotten much closer last weekend. The Flames did sweep the Bellarmine Knights, but a couple of one-run ball games in there, and boy, I think we're still all flying high from Sunday's walk-off win. Logan Matthew with the two-run home run on Sunday in the bottom of the ninth inning. Flames down to their final out, their final hope. I mean, just all the things that led up to that moment, letting the lead get away in the top of the ninth, being one strike away from victory. Then the three-run homer from Justin Rouse. All of a sudden, you're down a run. You're down to your last out with a man on in the bottom of the ninth, and Logan Matthew answered the call in a big, big way. And great for that kid. He has worked hard. He's coming off an ACL surgery from last season that sidelined him for all of the shortened 2020 year. And, boy, just couldn't have happened to a better kid. So happy for him. Big moment. A couple of home runs for Matthew this past Sunday, and Flames are certainly hoping that that will get him rolling here into the home stretch and into the postseason as well. Liberty now with a record of 30-11. The Tuesday game at Wake Forest rained out. The Flames did get on the bus, get down to Winston-Salem, and got off the bus and got out there and got loose and warmed up and took a full round of batting practice and everything, and then the heavens opened up just at 3 o'clock when we were supposed to get the game underway. So unfortunate, but Tuesday's game rained out. Not sure when or if that game's going to be able to be made up. It doesn't look good coming down here again. Last couple of weeks of the season, Flames aren't sure if they're going to be able to slide in the Demon Deacons here at some point. But for now, we'll just turn our sights back to ASUN Conference play because that's what it's all about. 3 games coming up this weekend with the Kennesaw State Owls. Liberty and Kennesaw State separated by 2 games in the ASUN standings. The Flames are 14-1. The Owls are 12-3. And with 3 victories this weekend, Liberty can clinch the North Division title and the number 1 seed heading into the ASUN Championship. And that's what it's going to take. 3 victories in the final 6 games. These two teams will play each other 6 times over the next 2 weekends. Liberty, of course, will make the return trip to Kennesaw State next weekend to close out the regular season in conference play. This after those 2 teams were supposed to have met already 3 times earlier this year at Kennesaw. Obviously, those games were canceled due to COVID-19 issues within the Owls program. So here we are, Liberty and Kennesaw State getting set to play 6 consecutive times, and it will certainly have a postseason feel each time those teams go out there. Here's the best we can figure as far as scenarios. We could get some things decided here this weekend. Liberty and Kennesaw, if the Flames sweep the series, then that's it. Liberty would wrap up the North Division title. If Kennesaw State wins as much as 1 game this weekend, it goes to next weekend. The Flames essentially need to win 3 out of the final 6 against Kennesaw State to wrap up the division. Obviously, you're playing for postseason play, you're playing for RPI points and all those things, so I'm certain that the Flames are hoping they do better than 3-3 in their last 6 conference games, especially considering that they've won 10 in a row row in league play going back into, I guess, late March, early April. So that's the scenario there. Liberty could wrap up the number 1 seed, and then you look at the 2 teams below the Flames and the Owls, or the 3 teams, I should say, in the division. You've got Lipscomb, you've got Bellarmine, and you've got North Alabama. 2 of those 3 teams will occupy the 3 and 4 seeds in the conference championship, if you will. You've got 2 weekends to determine the ASUN champion, and it'll start with a 2 out of 3 series the first weekend after the conclusion of the regular season. The number 1 seed from the North Division will host the number 4 seed in a best-of-3 series. Same can be said, number 2 seed will host the number 3 seed in a best-of-3 series. The South Division will do the exact same thing. The only difference is the North has 5 teams, the South has 4, so therefore 1 team will be left out of postseason ASUN play in the North Division. Right now, that appears to be North Alabama. The Lions are 6-15. They are done with conference play. Bellarmine and Lipscomb will play one another coming up this weekend. So that is a huge series as Bellarmine looks to try to possibly get a 3 seed going into this thing, as they will play 3 times at Bellarmine coming up here this weekend. Now, Lipscomb, if you look at the Bisons, they're 6-12 coming into this weekend. If they sweep that thing, then Bellarmine would be the 4 seed and would play the 1 seed. If Lipscomb wins 2 games, same scenario. Lipscomb would be the 3, Bellarmine would be the 4. If Lipscomb wins 1 game in that series, meaning Bellarmine takes the series 2 out of 3, Bellarmine at that point becomes the 3 seed, and Lipscomb becomes the 4 seed. Now, here's where it gets tricky. If Bellarmine were to sweep Lipscomb, the Bisons would be 6-15. They would be out due to the tiebreaker with North Alabama. Bellarmine would be the 3 seed in that scenario. If Bellarmine sweeps Lipscomb, Bellarmine becomes the 3. UNA becomes the 4 seed by virtue of the head-to-head tiebreaker with Lipscomb, because the Lions beat the Bisons 5 out of 6 this year. So there's still a lot of different scenarios that can play out here. And obviously, again, with Liberty and Kennesaw State at the top, if the Owls beat the Flames 4 out of 6 in the last 2 weekends, then Kennesaw State could win the North Division title. So a lot of baseball left to be played, a lot of things yet to be determined. The Flames could see either Lipscomb, Bellarmine, or UNA on that first weekend in the division series after the conclusion of the regular season. What we do know is that Liberty will be hosting that 2 out of 3 series. The Flames can finish no lower than second place in the North Division, so that is a good thing. That regardless of who the Flames are playing, they will be home. And then obviously the winners of those 2 out of 3 series will go on to Jacksonville, Florida at the University of North Florida. That'll be May 27th, 28th, and 29th. 4 teams, and that will be a double elimination tournament, basically like a regional. And the champion will be crowned on Saturday, May 29th. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. This is going to be a great series coming up here this weekend as Liberty and Kennesaw State get together. Obviously, the 2 best teams in the North Division, and you could make an argument the 2 best teams in the ASUN overall this season, just based on conference record. Kennesaw State, certainly a good hitting ball club, 292 team batting average. They've clubbed 40 home runs this year, and they've got some veteran hitters, some left-handed hitters in their lineup as well. Alex Carballo, their center fielder, having a great season. Terrence Norman, preseason all-conference outfielder. He's living up to the hype this year. But, the Flames certainly holding their own after that sweep last weekend of Bellarmine, and they should certainly have a lot of momentum coming into the weekend. Should be a great starting pitching matchup on Friday night. Trevor DeLate, the lefty for the Flames, and Jake Rice, the lefty for the Owls. Rice, a 1.54 ERA. He's 8-0 on the year. Trevor DeLate, 7-1 with a 2.59 ERA. Boy, runs could really be at a premium here in Game 1. We'll talk plenty more about the series coming up here in just a little bit. Right now, we want to get to break. When we come back on the other side, we will visit with Flames second baseman Will Wagner, having an outstanding season this year. We'll talk about that and Find out some of the players that he likes to emulate in the batter's box. Stick around. You're listening to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Fink's Jewelers from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.
The countdown to kickoff is on.
Willis again to throw. End zone. Caught!
Liberty Flames football is ready to rise in 2021. Rise with us. This fall, see your back-to-back Cure Bowl champion Liberty Flames take on Army, Old Dominion, and Louisiana Lafayette at Williams Stadium. Season tickets for all 6 home games start at just $70, a savings of 51% on single game price. Get your tickets now at lufootball.com. Now, back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Fink's Jewelers.
Flames Clubhouse Report continues this week as we visit with Liberty second baseman Will Wagner. And Will, a big weekend coming up here for you guys. A chance to close out the division here against a very good Kennesaw State team. How much does it help having a veteran group of guys going into a series like this?
It helps a lot. I mean, just knowing like you got Cam and Trey, and then you got Trevor as a Friday guy, it helps a lot just to set an example like that. Friday night, it's going to be a big game for us, but we shouldn't put the pressure on ourselves, and that we're a veteran group of guys and we're going to go out there and play like every day.
Looking back at that series last Sunday, it was a sweep, but boy, you guys had to work for it. And a couple of one-run ball games there Saturday and Sunday. To win the way that you did on Sunday with Logan hitting that walk-off homer down to your last out, how much does that do for a team going forward here into the stretch run?
You know, I think that's really good for us that we can come back and win those one-run games and come back when we're down by 2 in the 9th inning. I think that's going to prove a lot because we know it's not going to be easy all the time, and that come tournament time, it's going to be close games. It's not going to be blowouts, and I think that was a really good game, good series for us.
Yeah, no doubt it was, as we're visiting here with Flames second baseman Will Wagner. And you've been back off the injured list here for a little while now, a little bit of a back flare-up, I guess, if you will, against Coastal Carolina. Took a shot there from Jalen Guy. You know, I knew Jalen used to play football in high school.
Oh, my gosh.
I guess you realize he can still hit, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, shoot, he hit me, and everyone was worried about me, not him. That's for sure. Just because he's a strong guy. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you that struck me hard. I mean, I was down for a long time, but I know Jalen was feeling bad about it. We talked about it after the game. I told him not to worry about it. It was just a tough play right there. You know, I got the worst half of it, but we're better now. We're good.
Certainly feeling better, it looks like, just judging by the way you swing in the bat. I mean, you came back in the ball game, first game back, and I think had 3 hits that first one back.
Yeah, I would say a couple of them were lucky, but I swung the bat good and saw the ball well.
Flames second baseman Will Wagner with us here on the Flames Clubhouse Report this week. We talked earlier this year, I think it was after one of the games, that this season was starting to feel a little bit like 2019, where you guys won 43 games and went to a regional. Not on that same kind of a roll right now, although it's hard to stay on that kind of a roll. It was a 13-game winning streak at that point. But at this point in the season now, where you guys have a good idea of who you are, I mean, how does it feel heading into postseason this time around?
I mean, it definitely feels the same way as my sophomore year. I mean, I think we're a stronger team this year. I mean, we don't have guys like Embry and McInville, but we also replaced them with Trevor and guys like Aaron. And like the guys at the top of the order, like Gray and Aaron, those guys are always on base for like guys like me, Cam, and Trey. And that's huge for us going down the stretch. And I think this is just going to be a better postseason run for us. I feel like we feel a lot stronger as a team.
You mentioned Trevor DeLate on Friday nights, and I don't know that there's a quicker worker in the game right now than him.
Oh my gosh.
How is it playing? Yeah. How is it playing defense behind him?
I love playing defense behind. He works really quick. It feels like we're out in the field for maybe a minute and then we're back in hitting. And that's a big thing for our offense, just because once we're hot, we want to stay hot. So that's a big part of getting on and off the field.
You know, one thing about this Flames team this year, Will, is you guys have made the plays, 983 fielding percentage. I know that doesn't always tell the whole story in fielding percentage. Everyone's into analytics and runs saved and all those things these days. But when you look at you guys certainly passed the eye test of a very good defensive team. How much do you guys work on that stuff? And again, veteran team, having that chemistry out there, how much does that play into it?
I mean, for example, today at practice, we probably hit for like 20 minutes in groups, and then we did an hour of defense today. I think our main priority in practice is defense, because defense wins games. Pitching is going to get us in the dugout to hit. So if we can get in the dugout with a 0-0 game and have a chance for our hitters to take the lead, I think that's big for us. So I think defense is our main priority in practices.
What kinds of things are you working on at this point in the season, though? I mean, a lot of this stuff becomes repetitive. How do you not let it become just mundane and still put the work in?
Yeah, it's a lot of feel from our coaches because they know when we're tired or when we're fresh. So like today, we were pretty fresh because we didn't play Tuesday. So we did a little bit more. We did about 20 minutes of team defense where we had everyone on the field. We were making plays. Coach was calling out situations and we were reacting to them. And then we did individual plays, like where our outfielders were with the outfielders and the infielders. We did for the infielder, for me, we did going around the infield with glove work, infield in, making plays at home, and then turning to working on double plays.
You enjoy working on double plays? Is that one of the fun parts of practice?
Yeah, I like it just to see how quick I can be at second base and get some of the glove work where if I have a bad throw, I have to work my feet this way and just work in every situation I have to be ready for the game.
Flames second baseman Will Wagner with us on the Clubhouse Report. Last year was supposed to be your draft year. Obviously, we know how things turned out there with COVID-19 and going to 5 rounds. This year, a 20-round draft. I think you still have another year of eligibility if you want it after this season. Have you thought much about that yet? I know that you're trying to stay dialed into what's going on here, but in the back of your mind, is that starting to play in a little bit and wanting to play at the next level?
Yeah, I mean, of course I want to play at the next level. And I mean, it's always on my mind here and there. But when I get on the field with the team, it's all about winning. It's let's win the game first, win the season, win the conference tournament, and keep going as far as we can. And then that'll take over the draft and where I get drafted at or if I get drafted. But whatever happens, I just want to win as a team. That's where my focus is at right now.
How much do you dream about that stuff growing up, though? I mean, thinking about being in the big leagues one day or playing professional baseball. I mean, certainly you were around it, with your dad. Yeah. I mean, how much are you thinking about, or have you thought about that, I guess, growing up?
I mean, I think about it all the time. I still think about it. But at a young age, I mean, I was introduced to it because of my dad. I was always at big league fields, and it was something man, I really want to make this a job. I think it wouldn't even be considered a job to me. It'd be fun to play, just something I hope I can do one day. But the second hand, if I don't get that chance, it'll be okay.
Anyone that you try to model your game after at the next level?
There's a bunch of guys. I don't know. I love watching Freddie Freeman. He's one of the guys I love watching. I mean, I'm a Brave guy. I know you're a Braves guy too. But I love watching Freddie. I love watching Acuna. The way Acuna hustles out of the box, gets those triples. It's always every time he's up, it's even if they're getting blown out, it's always a special play about to happen. That's what you want to watch as a fan. And it just inspires me to go out there every day to be someone like Acuna or Freddie Freeman.
The last couple of things here, Will, as you look ahead to this weekend, again, these conference series are wars, but you've been in a lot of them now. What are you expecting here this weekend from a Kennesaw State team that wants to come in here and knock you guys off?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be back and forth. I think one thing Coach Jackson preaches a lot is just respond, always respond. Whatever happens, if they take the lead 2-0 in the first inning, so what? We got our bats. We'll come back from it. We just can't put our head down. We got to keep going from there.
Good stuff, Will. Hey, appreciate the time. Congrats on a great season so far, and hopefully the best is yet to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it, Nick.
That's Flames second baseman Will Wagner with us. Stick around. We've got more of the Flames Clubhouse Report and our weekly chat with head coach Scott Jackson coming up in a moment.
This broadcast of Liberty Flames Athletics is brought to you in part by Beacon Credit Union. Beacon Credit Union is a full-service financial institution offering a wide range of products and services. Having served Lynchburg and the surrounding area for over 75 years, our vision is to be the premier provider of quality financial services, a leader in our community, and the most progressive financial institution in our field. More information on Beacon Credit Union and all your banking needs is available online at mybcu.org. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Now, back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Fink's Jewelers. This week's show continues with the thoughts of Liberty head baseball coach Scott Jackson, presented by Beacon Credit Union.
All right, big weekend series coming up here for the Flames and the Kennesaw State Owls in Lynchburg. Nick Pierce visiting with the head coach now. And, this is what you play for. I mean, these are 6 games coming up here with Kennesaw State, the division title on the line, and obviously a lot more on the line than that for your ball club. I mean, we're not just looking at ASUN North divisions. We're looking at postseason play potentially, and that makes all 6 of these games really big.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you said it best. This is what you play for. You put yourself in this position, to be able to start, the 6-game swing with them at home certainly is something we like. So, it's school's out, get these exams going and over with. And, I tell our guys all the time, the best is yet to come. And the best part is, baseball without having to go to class. So that's a pretty cool thing for our guys and something that I've always looked forward to. Kind of one of those unique moments during the year where the weather warms up, exams are over, it's baseball, it's postseason play. It's, if you're in position, there's a lot of implications with every game you play. So I'm excited for our players. They've earned this opportunity, and I can't wait to watch them.
Yeah, it's almost like a month of pro ball for these guys, essentially. Just roll out of bed, come to the ballpark. But you look back at Tuesday's game, tough to lose that one, but at the same time, maybe at this point in the year, not a bad thing to kind of get some guys a break, right?
I think there might be some silver lining there. Of course, our kids have been through so much as far as COVID, and you hate for them to not have an opportunity to compete. That being said, maybe there is some things there, resting Gray Betts, getting our bullpen to where it's fresh, some things that maybe will help us this weekend. So at least we went down there and got a chance to get off the bus and move around a little bit. Disappointed we didn't play, but it was a 3:00 game, so we got home with plenty of time to rest. Those guys had a reading day the next day, which was good for them to get ready for exams and not have to cram too much time into too little space.
Visiting here with the head coach, Scott Jackson, and you look at ASUN play, your team has been pretty dominant here. 10 straight wins now, 14-1 record. Overall, I mean, how do you feel like the guys have handled conference play and just getting ready for these series each weekend? I
think they've done a really good job of understanding how important those weekends are. I'm really, just very happy with completing some of the weekends. It's one thing to take a series. It's another thing to have an opportunity to sweep and then to be able to capitalize on that. We talk about that a lot, during the season. Just finish the game, finish the inning, finish the series, and to have some resilience and some response through that with some adversity that we certainly faced, especially in that Bellarmine series. I'm just proud of the players, and I'm looking forward to continuing the journey with them.
Yeah, I mean, the Bellarmine series, you fall behind in the first inning, the first 2 games, come back at the counterpunch, and then obviously down to your last out on Sunday, and then to have that kind of a win, I mean, just incredible. But now you look at a Kennesaw State team coming in here at 12-3. They've certainly made their share of hay, so to speak, in the league as well. Early on here, what do you make of the Owls and looking at them on video? I mean, certainly the numbers would indicate they're a pretty good hitting ball club.
Yeah, if you go back to 19 when we played them down there was a lot of those guys that were, some of them were younger, some of them weren't in the lineup, some of them were. I'm impressed with the development of those kids and just where they are, and they look really, very versatile on the video and the tape that we've gotten. I was able to watch some of the Georgia Tech series. It's one of the longer lineups in our league, if not, the longest as far as just trying to get through right, left, and, being able to not really have much room to breathe. It's a really good look on Friday with Jake Rice. They've got some different looks out of that bullpen, plenty of left-handed pitching. It's going to be a great challenge for us and one we're looking forward to.
They banged out 40 homers, but then you look at it too, and they're hitting .292, and they take their walks. I mean, it's not like they're a one-trick pony.
Yeah, it's very polished. It's older players. It's very well coached. It's something that I think any club at our level would love to have, with guys that can run and some power that's in there, right, left. It's how you draw it up from a lineup standpoint, the dynamic you want with the pieces you want. I'm impressed with the way they play defense as well. I think they've really got some nice pieces that pick it up and throw it over there, and they make the plays. So you have to beat Kennesaw. They're not going to beat themselves, and it's going to be a challenge.
certainly nice to have them come in here for those first 3 games when you are trying to close out a division and lock up a number 1 seed. I mean, getting them in here, I mean, that's not a bad thing, with this being a pitcher's park.
No, it's not. And you want that familiarity in your own home ballpark, before you go down there and play them, 3 times in their yard. So it's going to be something that I think hopefully will benefit us. Our guys are comfortable here, and it's a good way for us to start the series.
Looking at your pitching rotation here this weekend, does everything stay the same? DeLate, Willard, and Gibson?
No, we'll slide Cumming in there just from the length that he's been giving us. I think length is going to be critical here as we go through these weekends. Not that Nick can't, but I think Dylan's just in a better position right now for us to get the length that we need. It gives us a 3 distinctly different looks. A left-handed fastball change, slider guy, a righty sinker change, curveball guy, and then Gibson with a little bit more power on Sunday. I really like the differences in those looks. I think, that can be tough to prepare for. Hopefully that bodes in our favor and it plays out like we hope it will.
Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz?
Sure. Yeah. I was thinking like Cuellar, Palmer, McNally from the Oriole perspective, but we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
All right, Coach. We appreciate the time. Good luck coming up here this weekend.
All right. Appreciate you, Nick.
All right, and a big thanks to the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson, for joining us. Once again, our weekly conversation is presented by Beacon Credit Union. Liberty and Kennesaw State this weekend, 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Looking ahead to the starting pitching matchups for this one, we've already mentioned Friday should be a dandy. 2 southpaws. Jake Rice for the Kennesaw State Owls, 8-0 on the season, a 1.54 ERA. The Presbyterian transfer trails only Kumar Rocker of Vanderbilt in wins this season. For the Flames, they will counter with left-hander Trevor DeLate, the senior from Bangor, Maine. 66 innings pitched, 60 strikeouts this year, and a 2.59 ERA. Saturday matchup, it will be Kennesaw State right-hander Luke Torbert, 5-3 with a 4.76 ERA. The Flames will go with right-hander Dylan Cumming, 1-1 with a 6.53 ERA. Sunday matchup, Kennesaw State goes with lefty Ryan Kennedy, 6-0 with a 4.31, and the Flames will counter with Trey Gibson, the right-hander, 6-3 with a 3.46. Game times this weekend, Friday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, and Sunday, a 1 o'clock Eastern start. All 3 games will be on ESPN+. All 3 games will also be on the radio. LibertyFlames.com will have live audio play-by-play streaming and also 90.9 FM locally in Lynchburg. Pre-game coverage will start roughly about a half hour before. And also, Sunday is Senior Day, so if you're coming out to the ballpark, make sure you get there early. The Flames will be recognizing 5 of their senior players coming up here this Sunday. That should be a great event, and we'll have it for you also on the radio, that pregame ceremony that should start around 20 minutes before first pitch, and hope you will join us either at the ballpark or on the radio coming up here this weekend. Looking ahead with the weather, first pitch temperature on Friday night should be right around 61 degrees under partly cloudy skies, a wind out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour, so should be a very pleasant Friday evening for first pitch. Saturday, sunny skies, a high of 67. And then Sunday, mostly cloudy, but no rain for the moment in the forecast. And 76 is the high on Sunday afternoon. So should be a great weekend of baseball. Hope you'll be around and join us in some way. All right, that will wrap it up for this week's edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report presented by Finks Jewelers. Once again, we say thank you to Will Wagner and to head coach Scott Jackson for joining us this weekend. We are out of time. Make sure you join us on the radio and enjoy the baseball this weekend. Till next time, my name's Nick Pierce saying so long, everybody.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report presented by Finks Jewelers. For more on Flames baseball, check out libertyflames.com. You can also follow the team on Twitter and Instagram at Liberty Baseball and on Facebook at Liberty Flames Baseball. The Flames Clubhouse Report is an exclusive presentation from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.